That's precious. Precious. So here's a question for you, then. Being a man, husband, and father, I'm sure you've dealt with questions that people asking you as far as financially. How do you do it? You know, you must be a millionaire. You know, as far as in a workaday world, let's face it, there's pressure. There's pressure.
Sure.
So, just what kind of words of encouragement that could you give to some other guys that maybe they're married to a woman who would love to have a whole bunch of babies, and they're just like, whoa, like, you know what I do for a living, babe? So, or whatever. And so the Lord's been faithful.
Absolutely. We've never missed a meal.
Yeah.
To my knowledge. So I do credit the Lord with that. The response that comes to mind may not sound like encouragement initially, right off the top of my head. Yeah. And I'll back this up. I'm very grateful. My father worked his tail off to make ends meet when we were growing up.
How many siblings did you have?
3. I've got 2 brothers and a sister, so there were 4 of us kids.
Small family.
Small family. We lived in rural Wisconsin. He did electrical work, which was a good job to have, but low income region, low standard of living as far as low cost of living. Cost of living.
Right.
But nonetheless, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and so we were a single income family, and we live on a property. Things start, need work and maintenance. So he worked like crazy, and it was the impression we had growing up was you did whatever you had to do to make sure you took care of your family. And I grew up, I never missed a meal either. And so when we got married, we've moved locations from time to time just due to expenses and so forth. We've made job movements. I've worked overtime. But what I found is that was a question we'd get. We had 3, 4 kids. Well, that's getting expensive, isn't it? Well, yeah. But every time we had a kid, a raise came along, or something freed up, or a job opportunity opened up, and I probably don't have any more income laying around in the bank somewhere than when we started. But I don't have any less, and that was from 0 kids to 10 kids. So the Lord provides, and I do remember laying in bed at night down in Tennessee, sweating out how I was going to cover some financial things, and pondering the thoughts of be anxious for nothing, but by everything with prayer and supplication, let your request be made known unto the Lord. And I guess if I'm going to encourage anything at this point in time, it's don't just do it that once. 5 minutes later, when the anxiety starts to crawl up, you do it again.
Cast your cares on the Lord.
Yep. We reach the end of our own resources. You've got no other choices, but it's always nice if we turn to God before we reach the end. But either way, every single time, the Lord has come through for us, and I feel like as long as if you're a guy, do your part, do what you can. Let the Lord handle the details of the stuff you can't take care of. And I say that because I know some people who are like, well, I'm not going to work any extra hours, or I'm not going to go for this job that's going to take more of my energy or harder work or something like that. I'll just let the Lord deal with it. No, do your part, but the Lord will take care of the.
That's right.
Make the difference.
And of course, I'm sure you'd agree that there's a host of very practical things that in order to make ends meet, that hey, like you mentioned about going out to eat, that doesn't happen very often.
Far less now than it did before.
Right. Or unless we've been blessed with a gift card or whatever. And so, in other words, there are many creative avenues that we may not be able to do all the same things that that some cousins or other friends or kids in the neighborhood or whatever do. But once again, the freedom and flexibility that is what I emphasize with our kids, the freedom and flexibility that the Lord has given them in their lives, and the experiences and the blessings and the places that they've been able to go and people they've been able to meet, the breadth of life experience the Lord's given them has been incredibly significant. And once again, a part of that is keeping your overhead costs down as much as possible and minimizing debt.
Yes.
Minimizing debt, because when you have that lends itself toward alleviating pressure
Yes.
and freeing up time and money to do other things.
Right. And one of the things it's also done is it's given us the opportunity to show our kids that the true fulfillment and joy is found in relationships.
Yeah, not
At,
stuff.
right. Yeah. Or the next vacation, or
Sure. Yeah.
going out to eat at the right restaurants, or going out to eat at all for that matter.
Sure.
And so by default, there's a lot of blessings in just being able to keep things simple and straightforward.
Yeah, and of course, eating together around your family table at home, home cooked meal, mom's hard work, along with perhaps the daughters helping out as they're coming of age. It's more cost effective. It's better for you, like you're saying, eating well, and it lends itself toward even just overall better relational dynamics as far as connecting with one another, no distractions, and being able to. That's when our family, when we have our family worship time. Not to say that we've never necessarily sang at a restaurant, albeit quietly. As far as maybe just a short chorus and just like, hey, we better dismiss, whatever. But it just lends itself toward, hey, just what we describe in Grace Family Ministries as being very deliberate in advancing the cause of Christ, being right at home. So in light of that, any closing final words of encouragement you'd like to share with other families that are just looking to take personal ownership of their kids' education?
I would say make your faith the center of who you are and what you do. Make it your reality. We kind of had that intention growing up, but I've observed, I've been part of things in even a lot of churches where it's, your faith is something you do on occasions.
Okay, like a Sunday morning thing, compartment in the Jesus box over there.
Right. And whatever happens the rest of the day is real life.
Okay.
But make your faith a daily thing. It becomes who you are. It's a natural part of your life, and it may look a little differently depending on family size and circumstance. But I think that's the part that I'm seeing with our kids that's really hitting home. It's not do we do it or not. This is who we are.
Yeah. How about you, Jessica? Any final words of encouragement, especially to perhaps younger couples that are just maybe their kids are just maybe 3, 4, 5 years old or so, and they're just grappling just with things and just unsure. Do they take their kids out of the public school, or it's like or whatever other educational options that they're looking at, and just like maybe just not familiar with homeschooling or just whatever. As far as any final words of encouragement could you give to young families?
Well, the ones that have the little tiny kids, they are homeschooling already, whether they choose, another choice in the future.
Right.
The biggest thing I say for moms is even those tiny little ones, you are starting a relationship.
That's
And
right.
it's easy to lose track of that in
That's right.
daily diapers and daily dishes. It's so overwhelming, but it's so totally worth it. And then as that just progresses into the school ages, and if you decide to homeschool or homeschool co-op, or it's such a hybrid of a
There's
mix of things now.
So many variety of
Right.
resources available.
It's so worth it.
And indeed. And so, Lori and I are grateful for each of you and your friendship and just what the Lord's been doing in your lives, and even just the future trajectory of your children's lives. I know, brother, you had mentioned before that you and Jessica are raising your kids to go and serve the Lord wherever that may be, for the glory of His name. And so how about a high five, huh? Yeah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And thank you indeed for your prayers and your support of Grace Family Ministries, and we encourage you to check us out online, our website, gracefamilyministries.org, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help spread the word as together we advance the cause of Christ to the ends of the earth, beginning right at home. Soli Deo Gloria.